Hey, hey, I'm Ayuma Michelle, and welcome to Let's with Ayuma. This is an online safe space that I created for millennial women just like me to thrive with purpose. On the previous video, I promised you that I'll deal with the topic of letting go in two parts. So last time we discussed letting go of the good within you, because this is the moment, this is the season to finally release the things that you've been nurturing, right? Because this is the time to serve. And again, with all of the things that are happening around us with regards to COVID-19, I want to challenge you to think positively, to not let go of your hope and your dreams, and to leverage this time as a time to rethink how you've been living your life, to rethink how you've been doing things, and start aligning yourself with your dreams. And I'll share with you today on how you can start doing that by letting go of the not so good within us. So the reason why I thought this would be so important is because, let me just give you a random story, right? Let's say you have a full wardrobe of clothes, and then somebody says, like, let's say a stylist, an amazing stylist, that you love or admire, says that I want to give you a whole new wardrobe. What needs to happen? You actually need to confront the current wardrobe you have. You need to choose. Do you want the new into your life, or do you want to keep on holding to the old? And so, just like in that scenario, if you have an amazing world-class stylist that you love and admire, that who wants to literally sort you out with a new wardrobe, what will need to happen? You will need to let go of the old, right? For you to create room for the new. And so I'd like to actually cover this particular topic because many of us are either on self quarantine, or or you're just at home, maybe not able to work. Maybe, in terms of business, it's really tough to a point where you can no longer keep on with your business. I honestly see this as an opportunity of interruption to challenge us to really refocus our attention on the things that truly matter. And part of it is to actually challenge yourself and to conduct an audit in your life as to what will stay when all this is over, what will stay and what needs to go as soon as possible. So use this time as an opportunity to audit, to detox the stuff that isn't working for us, the things that are not serving us anymore. So why is this important? It's because I realize that many people are seeking happiness instead of joy. The reason why seeking happiness and pursuing happiness is a challenge, even during this time. And this I learned from an amazing guy. He's called Jerry Flowers, and he runs a fantastic YouTube channel called Redefine TV. You ladies should check it out. It's really, really amazing and very empowering, especially with all things relationships. Because for me, I want to set myself up for God's best for me by also understanding how to set myself up for my generational legacy of a godly marriage and relationship and family. So this guy, he said something so profound. He said that happiness does not work because happiness depends on happenings. You get what I mean? That's so deep. Happiness depends on happenings. That is why it's so temporary and it does not last long. So the reason why it is so important to let go of the not so good in us, it's because the false and the limiting belief is that pursue happiness in life. And that the thing about holding on to the not so good, about the not so good in our lives, instead of letting go and creating opportunity for the new, is because sometimes new things are uncertain. New things are, you don't really know what exactly is going to happen. But then the old, it reaches a point in life where if you keep holding on to the old, you know that it is not good, but because you know what to expect from it, and because you already know the outcome, rather you already know what to expect, you kind of keep that in your life. The thing is, it'll keep you happy temporarily, but it will not feed into your joy. In fact, it's stealing from your joy, because the word of God says that joy only comes from God. By the way, joy is a gift of the Holy Spirit. You get what I mean? So that only comes from God. So why would you let temporary happenings steal from an eternal gift from God himself? You see? And that's why you see in seasons such as this, there are people who, yes, we are all facing a world crisis called COVID-19. But you will see that there's a big difference between the people who are living in joy and the people who are living in happiness. Because with happiness, there are those temporary things which during a situation like this is disrupted. So does that mean your life is suddenly meaningless? No. It certainly means that your investment was not in joy and the deeper things, the more meaningful things in life, but that your investment was on temporary happenings. So I wanted to go deep with you ladies today. I wanted to share something very vulnerable in my life, which you can check out on my website, letsfindyourstory.com. I have a media gallery and a video gallery there where I shared a Dada Sphere talk about my journey, my dream. And my journey, I can't talk about my journey and my dream without actually talking about some of the things that have truly um, affected me in my life so deeply. Like moments where I felt like, my goodness, what's happening in my life? Why did this happen to me? And sometimes I would even be like, why? Like, am I such a mistake that such things happen to me? So a few years back, I actually am a rape survivor. And that incident, it happened when over a casual movie with a friend who decided that he wanted to take things beyond what I was comfortable with. And after that, I ended up being quiet about that situation for 5 whole years. I actually believed that it was my fault. I believed that it was my fault that I got raped, and that especially by my best friend, because at that time that guy was a very, very close friend to me. So I went around life so bitter, not only with that guy, because I said no and he didn't listen. He just kept going. And it just reached a point where I was so bitter, not only with that guy, but even more with myself. Because I kept telling myself, why? Why didn't you do better? Why didn't you know better? Why were you there? And stuff like that. And that's what robbed me of my voice. For 5 whole years, I could not talk about it because I was blaming myself. And, but guess what? A few years ago, when I actually thought about that situation and I asked myself, what would become the result of my life if I keep living this way, if I keep blaming myself, if I keep hating that guy? Because that guy, his life is moving on. I mean, he's doing amazing things in his life. But what would have happened to my life? What would then happen to me if I keep holding on to this bitterness and anger? It reached a point where I had lost so many male friends. Number one, that's the other thing I noticed. I noticed that, first of all, I did not have peace within myself. Number two, I realized that I was hating somebody who was moving on with their lives. Number three, I started losing male friends in my life. My male friends consistently started telling me that I am very angry and they can't handle it. So literally just one by one, I started losing my male friends because of that anger, pent up anger that I had towards men. Then also I realized I started feeling so insecure to a point where I started dressing differently. I let go. I stopped embracing my sensuality as a woman. And because I didn't wasn't embracing my sensuality as a woman, I let go of myself. I wasn't taking care of my body. I wasn't even whenever I'm given a compliment, I don't believe it. I wasn't dressing up, for me especially, and dressing up nicely and beautifully. I wasn't feeling that confident. So I would really cover myself up and I would wear lots of dark colors and I would hide right in plain sight before people. So, and it reached a point where I actually prayed to God, and I had literally resorted to a point where I was like, God, because this happened, I don't think I am worthy of love. That's the false story I ended up telling myself. I don't think I'm worthy of love. Therefore, I will not even expect a marriage. I will not even expect a beautiful relationship. I will not even expect compliments. In fact, I will not even expect to be a mother. So, you know what? I'll work hard, build a career, and maybe one day I will be able to adopt a kid who, because I think I was literally putting myself at the same level of, I can only identify with people who maybe have been rejected. Because the thing about, I had decided that I'm going to adopt an orphan. And it's because I was like, the only person who would get me is somebody who's in the same position of that rejection. And that was dangerous. Can you see how dangerous, through my story, that this is something that happened, that whether or not I was in control of, it happened. So I had control of my expectation about how I was going to live my life moving on. But I'm so grateful that it reached a certain point in my life when I decided, no, I am carrying too much. I even started having backaches. And that is often a sign. In my work as a coach, you can find out what I do on letsfindyourstory.com. And I coach through women through this. Most of my clients that actually face lots of internal confidence challenges and esteem challenges often come to me with also a physical challenge. So like sometimes there's a woman who was carrying a lot, and at the same time she also had to go for a back surgery. You would be so amazed the amount of wellness and how wellness and your mental health come into play. And this is the reason why I'm saying it is important for us to let go. Because thank goodness it reached a point where when I just analyzed how my life had been going, I realized I was isolating myself from people who could love me, from people who I could love, from people who could actually build me and push me towards my dreams. I was isolating myself because I had lied to myself. I had believed the false story I was telling myself is that I am unworthy of love. So what did I do? I literally manifested it. You see? So the reason why I tell you this, it's so important, is because I challenged myself to start forgiving. I know that there are so many women in my networks. I keep seeing it. There's so much anger that women have towards men. There are so many things that are happening in this world that are so unfair to women and girls. And even right now during this COVID-19 situation, I'm seeing how women are getting mistreated, are getting harassed, and are even losing their lives economically, but also they're losing their livelihoods, but they're losing their lives. And I know that it is tough. I know it is hard. Trust me. Yes, I'm a rape survivor, but guess what? I am not a rape victim. I am a survivor, and that's where the story turns. You need to reach a point where you need to choose. How do you want to keep living the rest of your life? Do you want to keep carrying all of that anger, all of that pain, all of that frustration towards people who are moving on with their lives? Or do you want to free yourself up so that you can have access to the things that God has blessed you with so abundantly? And He has gifted you with life today so that you can access. That is my challenge to you. Yes, I finally got to a point where I was able to forgive the guy who raped me. Yes, I got to that point. I was able to forgive that guy. And right now, it does not pain me to think about him, to think about what he's doing with his life. No, I let it go, because guess what? Forgiveness, it serves you. It serves you first. It frees you. It's not even about the other person. Yes, it sets them free in terms of they know that you don't hold a grudge towards them. But the first and foremost thing you need to think about with regards to forgiveness is that it serves you. And the reason why I felt like it was so important to discuss this, and I can sense that it's a very deep conversation, is because during this time when you're locked away from work and the rest of the world, the reason why many people find it so hard to stay indoors is because suddenly the narratives, the stories you've been, the things, the inner conflicts you've been running away from or dealing with or burying under work and busyness, they start coming up. And I want to encourage you to embrace it. Start conversing with yourself. Rekindle a relationship with yourself. Confront those conversations that are in your mind telling you this is why you aren't enough. Start forgiving and realize that forgiving is a process. Anytime I think of that traumatic experience, I need to remind myself that I choose to forgive. I chose to forgive him. But the most important person I needed to remember to forgive was myself. I needed to forgive myself for not knowing any better. I needed to forgive myself for trusting somebody who didn't want the best of me. I needed to forgive myself, right? For putting myself maybe in a scenario or a place where I was vulnerable. And I needed to forgive myself for not knowing how to rescue myself. And I even practiced it by looking at the mirror, telling myself, I forgive you for, I love you for, you know, and I am proud of you for. Those are the new reaffirming statements I needed to start telling myself. And I encourage you to start doing the same, because this world is so full of so many broken women. And I see it all around my women networks, how women talk about men, how women talk about themselves, how they treat their work and their dreams. It does not have to be so. During this COVID situation, see it as a moment of interruption, to interrupt how you've been doing your life, going about your life, and to give yourself permission to heal, to give yourself permission to let go of whatever no longer serves you, and to give yourself space for new and beautiful things to take space in your life. So stop running, my dear. Stop running. Stop hiding. Stop covering it up with busyness. Right? Face your fears. Face your pain. Face that inner child that did not know any better. The inner child in you that needs protection and love and affirmation. That little girl in you. She still exists. So I encourage you, choose today to forgive. It is not for the person who afflicted you. It is for you. Because you deserve forgiveness. You deserve to live free and light in this life. You deserve a new start, a new clean start. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve a healthy body that is not corrupted by mental issues that are unfinished business. You are worth it. You are worth forgiveness. You are worth forgiving. And you are worth a beautiful new start. So remind yourself of that decision. Choose to let go. Choose to forgive. And remember that when all of this comes to pass, which I trust and believe it will, remember that the best thing you will have done is let go of whatever no longer serves you. And you will have created a beautiful new space, new room in your life, in your heart, in your mind, in your soul, for beautiful new things to come into your life, right? So that's what I encourage you to do. I've already shared the action steps, within this message. It's been a beautiful moment of reflection, and I'm going to share a video on how you can repurpose this season as a moment of interruption, and I look forward to sharing that with you. But this was a bit deep because I'm very, it's this season. I mean, you can't get out of this season without being better, without confronting some of the things in our lives, right? So that is why I just encourage you, my dear, that please give yourself the gift of a new start during this season. And yeah, that's all for today. Remember to like, comment, and to subscribe. This is Let's with Ayuma, an online safe space that I started for millennial women just like us to thrive with purpose. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.